Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Today we will talk to the one and only Bishop of the Mongolian Republic, a vast country in Asia where missionaries only started their work some 14 years ago. Welcome on our program, Bishop Wenceslao Padilla.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. How come that missionaries only started about 14 years ago in Mongolia?
Well, because Mongolia has been with the communists for a long period of time. First, the Chinese communists were there, and afterwards, when the Mongolians made a revolt in 1921, 1922, they were able to push away the Chinese communists with the help of the Russian communists, the White Army. So they were thinking, or the Mongolians were thinking, that they will be at last free, but the Russians stayed for another 70 years. So Mongolia has really been under the communist regime, and it was only in 1989 or 1990 when the Eastern Bloc, the communism collapsed there, that they were also liberated from the communist regime.
And this liberation meant that also the Catholic bishops like you were able to get into the country, or what is the situation?
Well, at the time, there was no Christianity that was in Mongolia. In fact, the first Christians, Protestants, arrived there around the time 1989, 1990. And the first Catholic missionaries, that was us, 3 of us, 1 Belgian and 2 Filipinos. We arrived in 1992 through the appointment that we got from the Holy See, or the Propaganda Fide. So it was only from that time that Catholic Church presence started in Mongolia. Yes, many people, many historians talk about Christians visiting, missionaries visiting, but they did not do a sedentary life. They were just passing, or they were emissaries of the Holy Father to the great Han, or Emperor of Mongolia.
But does it really mean that people had never heard about Jesus before you came into the country?
Well, that's what impression that we got. That is the impression that they have not heard anything about Jesus at that time. But it was so surprising when I arrived there. I was visiting once the big department store, that the picture of the late Holy Father John Paul II was already on display in carpet. But I was laughing because among the few displays that were there in that department store, the Holy Father's portrait is beside Mona Lisa. So I was laughing. And so I bought that carpet. And when I visited the Holy Father in 1995, I brought that portrait to him.
And what was his reaction?
His reaction was very happy. He said, "Oh, so they know the Holy Father in Mongolia." And I said, "Yes, Your Holiness."
Can you describe a little bit the country of Mongolia to us? Because I think for us it is difficult to understand what kind of people and what kind of country it exactly is.
Well, Mongolia is a very vast country, and it is often referred to as the vast steppes, because there are many rolling hills, grasslands, although there are a lot of mountains also, and lakes and rivers. It is landlocked between the 2 superpowers, Russia and China. And so the climate is really extreme. It can be very, very cold during winter, going as low as negative 45 degrees centigrade, but it can go as high as 28, 30 degrees centigrade in summer. And so we have to contend with that. We have to put up, to brace ourselves always with this kind of weather. either in the warm or in summertime or in wintertime. In wintertime, it's really difficult because if you are not well with your clothing, then most likely you will freeze.
Because if we think of Mongolia, we always think of people on horses, nomads, in tents. But is that really the country you live in?
At the very beginning, yes. When we arrived, it was really this old Mongolia wherein you have these nomads. And the nomads, they ride their horses, the camels, they transfer from one location to another with these horses and with the yaks that pull their heavy luggages. But at this present time, you will be surprised that the influence of Europe, the influence of the neighboring progressive countries or civilized countries like Korea, Japan, is very much felt now in Mongolia.
Does it mean everybody has a television, even in their tent? They would have a satellite and a television?
Yes, that is more rampant. It's more observed now. In the cities, of course, yes, they have televisions. Young people already have mobile phones, and they have internet. There are internet cafes all over the city. In the countryside, yes, you'll be surprised that even a tent has a solar panel that generates energy for their small refrigerator and the television in the evening and their light in the evening. So this is very impressive as they are catching up with the development. And it's very fast, like transportation. When we arrived, the missionaries, 3 missionaries arrived in Mongolia, there were maybe around 30, 40 old Russian vehicles that you could see in the city. But now we experience already a lot of traffic jams. So, and then we were used when we arrived with these flats made by the Russians, these apartments, no? And now you have already detached houses, luxury residential houses. And that is very surprising for us because the life of the people or the standard of living is still very low. Like salaries are very low, maybe around 80 to 100 US dollars a month for middle class workers. And how to cope up with that. But they say that there is an underground economy wherein it's not accounted for by the government. And I understand that this underground economy is the one that says that for almost every household in Mongolia has a bread earner outside of Mongolia.
And what about children going to school? Is that necessary? Does the government say that children have to go to school?
Yes, I think it's in the constitution that they have to go to school, but because of the poverty of the people, many of these children cannot go to school. And so that is the big work that the missionaries or charitable organizations, not only from the Catholic Church, are doing. So we cater to this, that we take care of children who are out of school, the young people who are out of school because of poverty. And our sisters, the congregations that we have in Mongolia, are the ones taking care of them. So the Catholic Church at the present time have 2 Montessori kindergartens, and then we have elementary education, primary education that is evolving because we don't have big facilities yet, like a real school building, but we just place them in smaller rooms that we can rent or that are attached to our residences.
Is that also something that the government allows you to do, to educate the children?
Yes. In fact, when the first time that I was meeting these government officials, especially from the foreign ministry, who were the host of us, who were meeting us, welcoming us into Mongolia, we were asking them, what can the church do in Mongolia? And the answer was very spontaneous. And they said, yeah, help us educate our people, preserve the culture, do some social work, development work. And so we were happy when we heard about that, and we embarked our missionary work on these requests of the government, aside from now doing our evangelization work also.
And how do you evangelize in Mongolia? How do
Okay.
you work there
Yes,
to
that's
evangelize
the
the
point.
people, to bring the good news to the Mongolian people?
Okay, as I said, it's very strange. The entry that we took when we arrived already there was to see for ourselves the concrete needs of the society. And there we have seen that, it was really poor. The people are poor. And then that was the time that street people started increasing. Street people, especially the street children. And so we said, maybe it's good to embark on social work, taking care of street children. And so we did. And at the present time, we have maybe the best street children center. We have around 120 children from 2 years to above that we are taking care in the Verbist Care Center. And it's not only the children that we are taking care now, it's also the adult street people. Once a week, we have to visit the manholes where they are residing in the evenings, because that is where they can get a warm bed on the pipes under the ground. And so we are taking care of them also. And we opened also just recently, 3 years ago, a boys' town, wherein we cater to the older boys. And so we give them education. We train them also for technical schools, for technical skills, no? And then added to that, we have also these old people who have nothing to take care of them. And they are also living in the streets, and then our sisters of Mother Teresa are taking care of them. Added to that, there are so many of these young girls who are prone to prostitution or who are at risk, at least. So we take care of them also. So the work of evangelization has started as like a social, developmental, and humanitarian work, no? But all the while having in mind, at the back of our minds, that whatever we do, we are missionaries. Whatever we do is a part of church work. So that was our hope, that whatever we have been doing as service to the society is already a part and parcel of evangelization. But I know that that is not really the vision that we had when we went to Mongolia.
What was your vision when you went to Mongolia?
As missionaries, of course, we have to convert people to God's love. And so that's how I started having to establish 3 parishes. We started with one first, the Saints Peter and Paul Parish, and then afterwards, when the small place where we were gathering on Sundays and this holiday of obligations, it was no more big enough for the community, and so we again had to establish another parish, the St. Mary's Parish. And then afterwards, we established also, just 2 years ago, the Good Shepherd Parish.
When you say you established parishes, I can imagine there were no churches. So how did you establish a parish then without having a building?
Yes, and that's where maybe we can say that building churches is not only building structures. It is building, first and foremost, communities that come together, that show respect for one another, that share with one another, and who pray together also.
Is that one of the reasons why you became a missionary?
I think, yes. And I
What
think
was your first contact of missionaries, or your first feeling that you wanted to become a missionary?
Well, it's a long story. I think it started already when I was still an infant. According to my father and my mother, when I was ordained a priest, that was the only time that they told me about this. They said that when I was an infant, barely 1 year, I was very sickly. I could not suck on my mother's breast. We are 7 in the family. I was the only child who did not suck on my mother's breast because whenever I suck on my mother's breast, I had stomach ache or I have a bad stomach. So they offered me in one of the pilgrimage places in the Philippines. They offered me that their prayer was, yeah, God, Lord, if you will heal my son, and then you can do with him whatever you like. And so I did not know that until my day of ordination. My mother was in tears when she was telling me about this. And so I think I had the first contacts with the Belgian missionaries, the CICM, Congregatio Immaculati Cordis Mariae, and who were already missionaries in the Philippines. No? And I think my vocation came from that because my father was a catechist or a religious teacher with the CICM for 36 years. So I must have gotten my inspiration and my liking to become a missionary as the Belgian missionaries when I starting from my childhood. But vocation really has to develop as a person grows. And as I was growing, it has developed. I still remember the first days that I was in the seminary. I just graduated from elementary education, and I was brought at once to the seminary. I was 11, 12 years old. And so I was homesick because my house is around more than 100 kilometers away from the seminary. And so I was crying almost every night for almost 1 year. And I wanted to go home. But whenever I have my vacation at home, uh, I wanted to go back to the seminary. So this kind of feeling, no, it has been in the first years of my formation years as a seminarian.
Thank you for telling your beautiful story. And now let us go back to Mongolia again,
Yes.
where you have a huge work to do. Do you have enough people to do the work in Mongolia?
Yes. At the present time, we have 3 parishes. We have around 56 missionaries. 56 missionaries from 14 nationalities and from 9 congregations. So it is a very good witness to the people in Mongolia to see this coming together of different nationalities who claim to be missionaries, who claim to be members of the church. No? And it is a very strong force in our evangelization work because the young people, most especially those who come to the church and to join our activities in the church, they are impressed with what they see. Different congregations, different apparels, attires, no? And different shades of skin. There are those from Congo, missionaries from Congo, from Cameroon, from Italy, from Argentina, from Brazil, from Belgium, from Korea, from Japan, from India, from Bangladesh, from the Philippines, all kinds of people, missionaries from different countries coming together to join in the missionary team of the Catholic Church mission in Mongolia.
What is the most important virtue for you being in Mongolia as a missionary?
Well, yes, that is always a challenge to be patient. There was an old missionary who was always telling, yeah, there are 3 virtues or attitudes that a missionary should do. The first one is patience, the second one is patience, the third one is also patience. So it is really a virtue to be patient because many times these among nomadic people with the nomadic mentality, sometimes they don't observe the right timing, no? And also you have to be very patient with the way of life of the people. Like for instance, even with the food, no? They are used to boiled meat, a lot of meat, and so you have to be patient sometimes you are served many times with their local delicacies, no, which is not always very interesting if you have a different taste. Yeah.
And you as a bishop, I'm sure you go out to see your people a lot. Do you do that on a horse, or how do you get around in Mongolia?
In fact, I don't go that much. I do a lot of administrative work because we are putting up the infrastructure, the foundation of the mission, which means that we have to place our buildings, we have to construct churches, and we have to construct centers, social centers. No? But on occasion, I go to the countryside, especially when we have projects in the countryside, and to make ourselves be acquainted with the people, life of the people in the countryside, because it is really very different of what we see in the cities. The life in the cities are almost like any other city now, but the real Mongolia is located 100, 200, 400, 500 kilometers away from the city.
Is the Catholic community growing very fast at the moment?
Well, yes and no. Because, as I said in former interviews, I don't know if I mentioned it in this interview now, there are around 300 baptized Mongolians, no? But maybe 1/3 of them are not coming to church anymore, or they are in other places outside of the country because they are either studying or having work outside Mongolia. So the present time, with the 3 parishes that we have, we are expecting maybe around 80 to 100 baptisms this year. And in the years to come, I think with the dedication and the commitment of our missionaries, we will be able to influence more lives and bring them to believe in Jesus. And who knows, they might be asking for baptism as well.
Are there maybe many other sects and Protestants who are also trying to get the souls of the Mongolians, not only the Catholics?
Yes, I think when we compare ourselves with the Christian denominations and sects, we are left behind. Maybe they have already thousands of followers, and we have only 300 with the 14 years that we are in Mongolia. So, but I don't regret it, or I'm not sorry that we are not yet that big, no? What is important is really that we are able to help the people, to have contacts with the people, and so we are able to maybe train more the people so that they will become really solid Christians or solid Catholics. And I think that will be always my strategy. There's no forcing. The people are free, even those who are already baptized. We follow them up, but if they don't like to come back anymore to the Catholic fold, well, that is their choice, no? That's the prerogative. And I think that's how we operate. And the contacts, yes, I'm very much overwhelmed when I think about the contacts that we have. We have reached a lot of people through our social, developmental, and humanitarian aid projects. It's not only with the children, street children, we have other projects, even to the farmers, and then to the aid, the help that we give to the poor people in the countryside. It's very interesting that we have reached the interior of the country through the help of organizations like Church in Need, Caritas Internationalis, because we are placing a lot of deep wells in the almost desert area of the country to help the people have their own clean water for themselves and for their animals. So this kind of help that we are doing, we cannot say that they are really directly related to the church work. We don't say anything about God and about our conversion work, but we show that we are Catholics. We are very much at the service of the poor people, especially the poorest of the poor.
What is your hope for Mongolia?
Well, with the opening up of the government to democratic processes, and with the friendly character of the Mongolians, there is much hope that they will be able to improve their lives, and especially that the youth will be able to to become responsible citizens, and the hope of the church is always that they will become also God-fearing, that they know some things about our Catholic faith, especially the values, the gospel values that we preach. No, so that is a hope that I have for Mongolia and its people, and there is really that great hope, especially with the young people.
And thank you very much, Bishop Wenceslao Padilla, for being with us today and sharing with us your love for the Mongolian people. And thank you for watching our program Where God Weeps. And if you want to learn more on how you can help the Mongolian Church, please log on to our website, which is posted at the end of our program. We hope to see you again next week. Take care.